Hi everyone, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Jenna. Welcome back to Chap,
the COD podcast where we talk all things criminal justice.
Today's podcast features a visual aid to follow along with, and we will be talking about rehabilitation in and after prison.
We'll be talking about programs that are in prisons and how these programs can effectively have an impact on inmates. There are quite a few programs that prisons provide for inmates. Some are more well-known, such as academic education and theater programs.
In recent years, however, there has been an initiative to expand beyond the basic rehabilitative curriculum in an effort to connect and better prepare prisoners for life after prison. You may be wondering why these programs exist and how they benefit society as a whole. Today we'll be answering the question of, so what? The benefits of rehabilitation programs directly affect the prisoners, targeting main issues such as antisocial behavior, personality and relationships, criminal thinking, family, marital, work, and school status, leisure and recreational activities, and also substance use. These programs also include fiscal benefits to the state, meaning that the prisoners have low recidivism rates after participating in these programs. Along with that, this leads to less public assistance, seeing as though the prisoners already have received the right treatment to improve their well-being. In addition, an easier-to-manage inmate population could result in fewer inmates needing to be housed in higher security units, which could minimize the need and costs for additional security staff.
Instead of going over the well-known programs, we'd like to talk about the programs that are not as common. To begin with, one of the new programs being implemented is dog training. Many people who have pets are familiar with the love they share through their bond. Prisoners can experience this with the program Puppies Behind Bars. Prisoners are carefully selected and are given a puppy to raise for 2 years to become a service dog for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans or explosive detection canines. Inmates must have a clean disciplinary record for at least 1 year and need to be considered reliable and trustworthy by prison officials to be able to participate in this program. Once in the program, it is required that now puppy raisers attend weekly puppy classes and complete readings, homework, and exams. The puppies and their raisers live together in individual cells in a dedicated cell block. Gloria Stoga, the president and founder of Puppies Behind Bars, talked about second chances in the documentary Prison Dogs based on this program.
They've proved they can do wrong. They prove that they can wrong and they have wronged society. Let them prove they can do something right. Let them prove they can contribute to society.
Gloria and most puppy raisers take their jobs extremely seriously, and it is very clear when watching this documentary. Great successes have come from the Puppies Behind Bars program, such as some puppy raisers finding jobs in dog training, grooming, and related fields after they have fully entered the outside world. The program provides a mutualistic relationship, which in when two organisms of different species work together, each benefiting from the relationship.
Many facets of rehabilitative art. As stated prior, theater is one of these forms. Beyond that, not many are aware of the other possible art forms within prisons. They include creative writing, poetry, visual art, dance, drama, and music. Yoga, meditation, and horticulture may also be considered prison art programs. Participation in the arts while in prison can assist in building confidence and self-worth, given that their environment is so heavily restricted and regulated, consistently being oppressed and told what to do. Art offers an opportunity for individual expression. For example, Jimmy Pike, an internationally acclaimed Aboriginal prison artist, discovered and developed his own unique style of expression in painting while serving his sentence in Fremantle Prison.
Because of rehabilitation programs, inmates not only have the opportunity to flourish with what they have learned, but they also have the opportunity to attend outside programs led by released inmates themselves. Something like this could be easily compared to AA meetings. Some of these programs may include self-help support, creative writing, or peer mentorship. These after programs gives released inmates the chance to continue to stay on the right path. Before we take some calls, we just wanted to remind everyone that our Chap store has extended the Buy More, Save More deal of 25% off all Chaparral merch. Take advantage while it lasts!
Hi. What do Americans believe about crime and the criminal justice system?
That's a great question, Matt. Thanks for calling.
Basically, it's rough on all ends because for taxpayers, it just means more money, and it may feel like a burden to you, but at the same time, these programs are not easy. You know, the prisoners have to work for them, and in the long run, it's just going to end on a positive note for the prisoners and society as a whole, seeing as though it's just going to help them stay out of prison and stay on a continued right path. So, I mean, people can believe what they want, but at the end of the day, this might be a good thing to implement as much as we can.
Exactly. And we see with a lot of institutions that are they're ran for profit.
Mm-hmm.
And so regarding prisons, they're just gonna, put as many people as they want into the prisons regardless of guilt or innocence.
Right.
Which leads obviously to overcrowding and things like that. And then that's what happens. We're not able to get them the help they need. And then the fact of the matter is most prisoners are being held in medium, security prisons.
Right.
So they're going to end up being, back in come back to society. So why wouldn't you want to get them the help they need while you can?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's our whole talk about recidivism, and we can reduce that through these programs.
Hi, I was just wondering where and how do they develop these beliefs, like something in a TV show or possibly a movie?
Thanks for the question, Laura. Basically, where people develop these beliefs is mostly from the news and the media, but there's also the aspect of the lack of the news. There's not a lot of news coverage or educational stuff about rehabilitation in prisons that they will air just to air. They'll kind of stick to the whole fear and crime stuff just because it sells more and gives them more money. There's also kind of just the aspect of developing beliefs from friends, family, people that you surround yourself with. It's very easy to catch on to beliefs and just believe them without fact checking.
And then going along with media, TV shows and movies are a big thing. As we've said before, it impacts courtrooms with
right.
the CSI effect because of those shows Bones and CSI Miami or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so another a movie that kind of I would say is a big blockbuster with prisons is the Shawshank Redemption. And while it's a good movie, it's not accurately depicting what it's like for prisoners today.
Hey, how's it going? I want to know what the consequences of these beliefs would be. Thanks. Love your podcast. Bye.
Thanks, Jared, for your question.
A consequence of these beliefs could be that people may not think that the programs will work. However, we have a study here for you from 2014 from the Justice Policy Journal study, The Impact of Prison Arts Programs on Inmates' Attitude and Behavior. And basically, this was a study of 49 inmates, and it was about a arts education program that they had participated in. And 100% of the 49 inmates who participated said arts education helped them with self-expression, and 75% said it relieved stress and made them feel happier. Out of the 61 inmates who had never taken an art class before, 96% enjoyed it very much, and 62% of them got along better with their inmates within a year. I mean, just from these inmates here, which is a very small amount of inmates who participate in these kind of programs, you can see that there's a huge amount of success. And it may not work for every inmate who participates in this program, and most likely those inmates are asked to leave, but those who succeed in them succeed in the long run. And people who don't know much about this clearly shouldn't be talking much about it. Mm-hmm. It'll help them in all aspects when they enter back into society.
Right. And I just think that the biggest hurdle is ignorance. People don't
right.
know a lot about rehabilitation, and their main concern is always about money and things like that. And whenever there is some progress to help inmates and stuff like that, with halfway houses. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, we don't want them in our neighborhood. And you can't be like that, because these programs exist to help them.
Mm-hmm. They exist for a reason.
Right. And we need to get back to the rehabilitation mindset, and not this whole get tough on punishment, which started in the 70s. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Chap Chat. As always, here's our cited sources.
Make sure to tune in next week as we will be talking about the backwards bicycle mentality.
Meep meep!